Historical rabbit holes continue to baffle researchers and challenge our understanding of the past. From ancient civilizations that vanished without explanation to artifacts that defy conventional dating, these mysteries remind us that history still holds countless secrets. Today we're diving deep into some of the most perplexing enigmas that have left experts scratching their heads for decades. But first, you'll have incredible luck if you like, and subscribe before this video ends. The Antikythera Mechanism stands as perhaps the most sophisticated piece of ancient technology ever discovered. Found in a shipwreck off the Greek island of Antikythera in 1901, this bronze device dates back over 2,000 years, yet contains gear systems so complex they weren't seen again until astronomical clocks appeared in medieval Europe. The mechanism could predict eclipses, track the movements of known planets, and calculate the timing of the Olympic Games with startling accuracy. What makes this discovery so bewildering is that nothing else from ancient Greece suggests they possessed such advanced mechanical knowledge. The device contains more than 30 bronze gears arranged in a sophisticated system that modern engineers describe as remarkably elegant. X-ray analysis has revealed inscriptions describing astronomical phenomena. Yet the mathematical concepts required to build such a machine weren't thought to exist in ancient times. Some researchers believe the Antikythera Mechanism represents a lost branch of ancient technology, suggesting Greek engineers achieved mechanical sophistication that was somehow forgotten and had to be rediscovered centuries later. Others wonder if this device was unique, created by a single, brilliant inventor whose knowledge died with them. The mechanism challenges our assumptions about technological progress and raises questions about what other advanced knowledge might have been lost to time. The Nazca Lines stretch across the Peruvian desert like a massive ancient textbook written in a language we cannot read. These geoglyphs, created between 500 BC and 500 AD, include over 800 straight lines, 300 geometric shapes, and 70 animal and plant designs. Some of the lines extend for miles across the desert floor, while the largest figures measure over 1,200 feet in length. What puzzles researchers most is the precision of these massive drawings. The lines are perfectly straight across distances that would challenge modern surveyors, and the animal figures maintain their proportions despite their enormous scale. The Nazca people created these designs by removing the dark surface stones to reveal lighter soil beneath, yet the designs are only fully visible from high above. The purpose of the Nazca Lines remains hotly debated. Some scholars believe they served as astronomical calendars, pointing to celestial events important to Nazca agriculture. Others suggest they were walking paths for religious ceremonies or offerings to sky gods. The most controversial theories propose that the lines were created as signals to extraterrestrial visitors, though mainstream archaeology rejects such ideas. Recent discoveries have added new layers to the mystery. Researchers using drones and satellite imagery have found hundreds of previously unknown geoglyphs, some dating back even earlier than the famous lines. These new discoveries include strange humanoid figures and complex geometric patterns that don't match any known Nazca art styles. The Piri Reis Map of 1513 contains geographical information that shouldn't have existed at the time of its creation. This Ottoman map accurately depicts the coastlines of South America and Africa with remarkable precision, but most mysteriously, it appears to show the northern coast of Antarctica free of ice. European explorers wouldn't officially discover Antarctica for another 300 years. Admiral Piri Reis claimed he compiled his map from over 20 ancient sources, including charts from the Library of Alexandria and maps captured from Christopher Columbus. However, the accuracy of certain features has baffled cartographers. The map shows the Andes Mountains and correctly places islands that weren't officially mapped until the 20th century. The Antarctic coastline depicted on the map matches the actual landmass beneath the ice as confirmed by modern seismic surveys. This has led to wild speculation about how 16th century mapmakers could have known the true shape of Antarctica. Some researchers suggest the map preserves knowledge from an advanced ancient civilization, while skeptics argue that the similarities are coincidental or that the map has been misinterpreted. The Baghdad Battery, discovered in 1936 near Baghdad, consists of a ceramic jar containing a copper cylinder and an iron rod. Dating to approximately 250 BC, this artifact has sparked intense debate about ancient knowledge of electricity. When filled with an acidic solution, the device generates a small electrical current, leading some to believe the ancient Parthians had discovered electrical principles. Mainstream archaeologists argue the device was likely used for electroplating jewellery or had some other mundane purpose. However, the sophisticated understanding of metallurgy required to create such a device suggests the ancient Parthians possessed more advanced technical knowledge than previously thought. No other similar artifacts have been found, making the Baghdad Battery a unique puzzle. The mystery deepens when considering that ancient texts from various cultures contain descriptions of phenomena that could be interpreted as electrical effects. Some researchers wonder if ancient civilizations developed primitive electrical technology that was later forgotten, while others maintain that the Baghdad Battery is simply being misunderstood by modern observers. The Voynich Manuscript remains one of history's most enigmatic books. Created in the early 15th century, this 240-page text is written entirely in an unknown script and illustrated with bizarre drawings of unidentifiable plants, astronomical diagrams, and mysterious human figures. Despite centuries of analysis by cryptographers, linguists, and computer scientists, no one has successfully decoded a single sentence. The manuscript's illustrations are equally puzzling. The botanical section shows plants that don't match any known species, while the astronomical pages contain symbols and diagrams unlike any medieval scientific texts. The human figures appear to be bathing in strange green pools connected by elaborate plumbing systems, leading to theories about alchemical processes or medical practices. Carbon dating confirms the manuscript's medieval origins, but the text structure suggests it's not random gibberish. Statistical analysis reveals patterns consistent with natural language, yet the script doesn't match any known writing system. Some scholars believe it represents a lost language or dialect, while others suggest it might be an elaborate cipher or even an early form of artificial language. The Oak Island money pit has consumed treasure hunters for over 200 years, yet its secrets remain buried beneath layers of engineered flooding systems and booby traps. Located off Nova Scotia, this mysterious shaft was first discovered in 1795 when teenage Daniel McGuinness found a circular depression beneath an old oak tree. Initial excavations revealed layers of oak logs placed every 10 feet, along with clay, charcoal, and coconut fibre. What makes Oak Island extraordinary is the sophisticated engineering of its flood tunnels. As diggers reach approximately 90 feet, seawater rushes in from carefully constructed channels, making excavation nearly impossible. This suggests whoever built the pit possessed advanced knowledge of hydraulic engineering. Recent ground-penetrating radar has revealed a complex network of tunnels and chambers extending deep underground. Theories about what lies buried on Oak Island range from pirate treasure to religious artifacts. Some believe the pit contains manuscripts from the Library of Alexandria, while others suggest it holds proof of pre-Columbian contact between Europe and America. The most ambitious theory proposes that the pit contains Shakespeare's original manuscripts, hidden by Francis Bacon and other intellectuals. Despite modern technology and millions of dollars invested in excavation, Oak Island continues to guard its secrets. Recent discoveries include medieval lead and parchment fragments, but nothing that definitively explains the pit's purpose or contents. The island's curse, which allegedly claims one life for every $1 million spent searching, has supposedly been fulfilled 6 times over. The Shroud of Turin presents one of history's most debated artifacts. This linen cloth bears the faint image of a crucified man and has been venerated for centuries as the burial shroud of Jesus Christ. The image shows remarkable anatomical accuracy and appears to have been created by some unknown process that scientists still cannot fully explain or replicate. Radiocarbon dating in 1988 suggested the shroud was created between 1260 and 1390 AD, seemingly proving it was a medieval forgery. However, critics argue that contamination from centuries of handling could have skewed the results. More recent studies have identified what appears to be Middle Eastern pollen and minerals consistent with 1st century Palestine. The formation of the image itself remains mysterious. The markings penetrate only the topmost fibres of the cloth and show no evidence of paint or dye. Some researchers propose the image was created by radiation or some unknown chemical process, while others suggest it represents a photographic negative created centuries before the invention of photography. Bloodstains on the shroud have been analysed extensively, revealing patterns consistent with crucifixion wounds. However, the debate continues over whether these stains are actual blood or artistic simulation. The shroud's 3-dimensional properties revealed through computer analysis add another layer of complexity to an already baffling mystery. The WOW signal, detected by SETI researchers in 1997, remains the strongest candidate for an extraterrestrial transmission ever recorded. The signal lasted exactly 72 seconds and appeared to originate from the constellation Sagittarius. Its frequency and characteristics matched exactly what scientists would expect from an artificial source attempting to communicate across interstellar distances. Astronomer Jerry Eman circled the signal on the computer printout and wrote "Wow" in the margin, giving the phenomenon its name. Despite numerous attempts to detect the signal again, it has never been repeated. The source location contains no known stars or planets that could account for such a powerful transmission. The signal's frequency was precisely 1420 MHz, the same frequency emitted by hydrogen atoms. This is considered a universal constant that any technologically advanced civilization would recognize, making it an ideal choice for interstellar communication. Some scientists believe the signal represents the most compelling evidence yet for extraterrestrial intelligence. Skeptics propose various natural explanations, from military satellites to astronomical phenomena. However, the signal's characteristics don't match any known natural or artificial source from Earth. Recent analysis using modern techniques has only deepened the mystery, confirming that the WOW signal remains unexplained more than 4 decades after its detection. The Bloop was an ultra-low frequency sound detected by underwater microphones in the Pacific Ocean in 1997. The sound was loud enough to be heard over 3,000 miles away, making it one of the loudest underwater sounds ever recorded. Its frequency pattern didn't match any known geological or man-made source, leading to speculation about unknown deep-sea creatures or even more exotic possibilities. The sound's characteristics suggested it was biological in origin, but no known marine animal could produce such a powerful vocalization. Some researchers theorized it might have come from an undiscovered species of giant squid or whale, while others proposed more fantastic explanations involving unknown sea monsters or even extraterrestrial activity. In 2012, scientists finally identified the source of the Bloop as ice movement in Antarctica. Large icebergs grinding against the seafloor or breaking apart from ice shelves can produce sounds that match the Bloop's characteristics. While this solved the mystery, it also highlighted how much we still don't know about our planet's most remote regions. The Bloop incident demonstrates how mysterious phenomena can capture public imagination while also advancing scientific understanding. The network of underwater microphones that detected the sound was originally designed to monitor nuclear testing, but it has since become an invaluable tool for studying ocean acoustics and marine life. These historical rabbit holes remind us that human knowledge remains incomplete despite our technological advances. Each mystery represents a gap in our understanding, a puzzle piece that doesn't quite fit our current picture of the past. Whether these enigmas will ever be fully solved remains uncertain, but they continue to drive scientific inquiry and capture human imagination. The persistence of these mysteries also reveals something profound about the nature of knowledge itself. Even in our information age, with satellite imagery, carbon dating, and computer analysis at our disposal, some secrets from the past remain stubbornly hidden. Perhaps some mysteries are meant to endure, reminding us that the universe still holds wonders beyond our current comprehension. But among all these mysterious tales from the past, perhaps none are more intriguing than the stories that emerged from the shadows of the 19th century. This was an era when humanity stood on the threshold between ancient superstitions and modern science, where steam engines chugged alongside ghost stories, and where the line between fact and fiction blurred in the gaslight. The 19th century gave birth to some of the most enduring mysteries that continue to puzzle us today. It was during this time that people began documenting strange phenomena with a newfound scientific rigour. Yet paradoxically, these very attempts to understand the unknown only deepen the mysteries themselves. Take the curious case of the Bridgewater Triangle in southeastern Massachusetts. Throughout the 1800s, local residents reported an alarming number of unexplained phenomena within this roughly 200 square mile area. Strange lights danced across the night sky with no apparent source. Phantom animals materialized and vanished without warning, and an unsettling number of people simply disappeared without a trace. What made the Bridgewater Triangle particularly fascinating to 19th century investigators was its apparent concentration of Native American spiritual sites. The area contained ancient burial grounds, stone chambers of unknown origin, and sacred locations that local tribes had considered powerful for centuries. Some researchers theorized that these spiritual energies somehow created a window between worlds, allowing inexplicable events to manifest more easily. But the mysteries weren't confined to rural Massachusetts. In the bustling cities of the industrial age, equally perplexing events were unfolding. The Victorian era witnessed an explosion of interest in spiritualism, seances, and communication with the dead. What started as parlour entertainment quickly evolved into something far more serious when even respected scientists began investigating claims of supernatural phenomena. The Fox Sisters of Hydesville, New York, became household names in 1848 when they claimed to communicate with spirits through mysterious rapping sounds. Their demonstrations sparked a nationwide movement that would define much of 19th century supernatural investigation. Yet decades later, the sisters would confess to fraud, leaving researchers to wonder how much of what they had witnessed was genuine and how much was elaborate deception. Perhaps even more puzzling was the case of Daniel Douglas Home, a Scottish medium who gained fame throughout Europe for his apparent ability to levitate both objects and himself. Unlike many spiritualists of his era, Home performed his feats in well-lit rooms, often in the presence of skeptical scientists and nobility. He was never caught in fraud, despite being tested under controlled conditions by some of the most brilliant minds of his time. Sir William Crookes, a respected chemist and physicist, spent years studying Home's abilities. Crookes, who had invented the radiometer and made significant contributions to atomic theory, was hardly a gullible observer. Yet he documented instances where Home appeared to levitate several feet off the ground, stretch his body to impossible lengths, and handle red-hot coals without injury. Crookes published his findings in scientific journals, staking his reputation on the authenticity of what he had witnessed. The scientific community was divided. How could such phenomena exist if they violated known laws of physics? Some suggested that Home had discovered unknown natural forces. Others proposed that he possessed genuine psychic abilities that science had yet to understand. The mystery deepened when other investigators, equally qualified, reported similar observations under similarly controlled conditions. Meanwhile, across the Atlantic, another type of mystery was capturing the American imagination. The 1880s saw a wave of reports about mysterious airships appearing in the skies over California and other western states. These craft, described as cigar-shaped vessels with powerful searchlights, predated the Wright brothers' first flight by more than 2 decades. Witnesses described these airships as being far too advanced for existing technology. They moved against the wind, travelled at impossible speeds, and demonstrated maneuverability that no known aircraft could achieve. Some observers claimed to see human figures aboard these vessels, while others reported hearing voices calling down from the darkness above. The mystery deepened when newspapers began receiving letters, allegedly from the airship operators themselves. These communications, written in perfect English, claimed that the craft were the products of secret inventors who had solved the problem of powered flight years ahead of their contemporaries. The letter writers promised that their technology would soon revolutionize transportation, yet no such breakthrough ever materialized publicly. Skeptics argued that the airship sightings were elaborate hoaxes or misidentifications of known phenomena. But the sheer number of witnesses, many of them respected community members, made simple dismissal difficult. Moreover, the technical descriptions provided by observers showed remarkable consistency across different locations and time periods. What made these 19th century mysteries particularly compelling was the way they seemed to bridge different eras of human understanding. They occurred at a time when people were beginning to think scientifically about the world around them, yet they involved phenomena that existing science couldn't explain. This tension between rational inquiry and inexplicable events created a unique atmosphere of investigation. Victorian-era researchers approached these mysteries with both the tools of emerging scientific method and the open-mindedness of people who recognized that human knowledge was still profoundly limited. The period also saw the rise of organizations dedicated to investigating paranormal phenomena. The Society for Psychical Research, founded in London in 1882, brought together some of the era's most distinguished scientists, philosophers, and scholars. Their mission was to apply rigorous scientific methods to the study of supernatural claims. The Society's investigations were exhaustive and methodical. They examined thousands of alleged paranormal events, interviewed countless witnesses, and subjected mediums to carefully controlled tests. What they found was a complex mixture of fraud, self-deception, and a small residue of cases that seemed to defy conventional explanation. One of their most famous investigations involved the case of the Enfield poltergeist, though this occurred in the 20th century. However, similar cases from the 19th century, such as the Bell Witch haunting in Tennessee, provided templates for their investigative methods. These hauntings typically involved mysterious sounds, moving objects, and sometimes physical attacks on residents, all occurring without any apparent natural cause. The Bell Witch case, which began in 1817 and continued for several years, was particularly well documented. The Bell family of Robertson County, Tennessee, reported a series of increasingly violent supernatural encounters that eventually drove them from their home. The entity, which identified itself as Cape Bats, seemed to possess intelligence and demonstrated detailed knowledge of events occurring far from the Bell farm. What made the Bell Witch case remarkable was the number of credible witnesses who experienced the phenomena firsthand. General Andrew Jackson, who would later become president, reportedly visited the Bell Farm and fled after a terrifying encounter with the entity. Local clergymen, doctors, and community leaders all testified to witnessing inexplicable events. The case attracted the attention of early paranormal researchers who attempted to document the phenomena scientifically. They recorded detailed accounts of conversations with the entity, documented physical effects that could be measured and verified, and interviewed dozens of witnesses independently. Yet despite their efforts, they could never determine the true nature of what was occurring. These 19th century mysteries shared certain common characteristics that continue to puzzle modern researchers. They often involved multiple witnesses whose accounts corroborated each other despite being given independently. They occurred over extended periods, sometimes years, making simple hoaxes difficult to maintain, and they often left behind physical evidence that could be examined and verified. Perhaps most intriguingly, many of these mysteries seem to anticipate technological developments that wouldn't occur for decades. The airship sightings described craft with capabilities that wouldn't be achieved until the advent of modern aviation. Some mediums demonstrated knowledge of scientific principles that wouldn't be discovered until the 20th century. This prescient quality has led some researchers to speculate about the true nature of these phenomena. Were they glimpses of future technological developments, somehow manifesting in the past? Did they represent contact with advanced civilizations that possessed knowledge beyond 19th century understanding? Or were they simply the products of human imagination, coincidentally anticipating genuine scientific breakthroughs? The answers to these questions remain as elusive today as they were 150 years ago. Modern technology has allowed us to investigate similar phenomena with greater precision. Yet the fundamental mysteries persist. We can detect electromagnetic anomalies, record infrared signatures, and analyze audio frequencies, but we still cannot definitively explain what our 19th century predecessors witnessed. What we can say is that these historical mysteries continue to shape our understanding of the unknown. They remind us that human experience includes phenomena that resist easy categorization or explanation. They challenge us to maintain intellectual humility while pursuing rigorous investigation. The 19th century taught us that the universe is far stranger and more complex than our ancestors imagined. As we continue to unravel the mysteries of quantum physics, consciousness, and the nature of reality itself, we might discover that those Victorian investigators were witnessing genuine phenomena that simply existed beyond the explanatory frameworks of their time. Whether these mysteries involved unknown natural forces, contact with other dimensions, or something else entirely, they represent an important chapter in humanity's ongoing effort to understand the world around us. They remind us that mystery and wonder are not obstacles to scientific progress, but essential components of the human experience that drive us to keep questioning, investigating, and exploring the boundaries of the known. Now that we've uncovered the mind-bending mysteries of the past, let's venture into the shadows of the more recent centuries. From the 1800s to the dawn of the 20th century, humanity encountered phenomena that defied explanation and challenged our understanding of reality itself. These were not ancient puzzles lost in time, but events witnessed by modern minds, documented by credible sources, and investigated by some of the first scientific researchers of the paranormal. This period marked a fascinating transition in human consciousness. As science advanced and technology progressed, people expected rational explanations for everything they encountered. Yet paradoxically, this same era produced some of the most compelling supernatural phenomena ever recorded. Perhaps it was precisely because we had better tools to observe and document these events that their mysterious nature became even more pronounced. The late 1800s brought us the birth of spiritualism, a movement that swept across America and Europe like wildfire. Séances became fashionable entertainment in Victorian parlours, but behind the theatrical displays lay genuine mysteries that even skeptical investigators struggled to debunk. Mediums produced phenomena that challenged the very foundations of physics, from objects moving without touch to voices speaking from empty air. Meanwhile, the skies above began revealing their own secrets. Long before the term UFO entered our vocabulary, witnesses across the world reported strange aerial phenomena that defied the primitive aircraft technology of the time. These weren't swamp gas or weather balloons. These were structured craft performing impossible maneuvers decades before human aviation could achieve such feats. The period also gave birth to the first systematic investigations of the paranormal. Organizations like the Society for Psychical Research brought scientific methodology to the study of supernatural claims. These weren't superstitious villagers telling ghost stories around a fire. These were educated researchers, doctors, and scientists applying rigorous standards to phenomena that shouldn't exist according to conventional understanding. What makes these 19th century mysteries particularly intriguing is how they seem to bridge the gap between ancient legends and modern scientific investigation. The phenomena reported during this era often echoed ancient accounts of supernatural encounters, yet they occurred in an age of reason and scientific progress. This creates a unique tension where traditional beliefs collided with emerging scientific worldviews. Some researchers suggest that this period represented a kind of spiritual awakening, a time when the boundaries between the physical and metaphysical worlds became temporarily thinner. Others propose that rapid technological advancement somehow triggered these phenomena, as if humanity's collective consciousness was responding to the dramatic changes reshaping society. The electrical age brought with it new forms of mysterious phenomena as telegraph lines stretched across continents and electric lights began illuminating city streets. Strange electrical disturbances accompanied unexplained events. Some investigators noticed correlations between supernatural activity and electromagnetic phenomena, laying groundwork for theories that wouldn't fully develop until the 20th century. Victorian society's fascination with death and the afterlife also created fertile ground for paranormal encounters. The high mortality rates of the era meant that virtually every family had experienced loss, making the possibility of communication with the deceased deeply personal and emotionally compelling. This wasn't mere entertainment, it was a desperate search for proof that consciousness survived bodily death. The mysteries of this period are particularly valuable because they were documented by people who understood the scientific principles that their experiences violated. When a trained physician reported seeing objects move without physical cause, or when an engineer witnessed impossible electrical phenomena, their testimony carried weight precisely because they knew such things shouldn't be possible. These Victorian-era enigmas also reveal humanity's enduring need to explore the unknown, even as we gained unprecedented power over our physical environment. As steam engines conquered distance and telegraphs conquered time, the human spirit still yearned for connection to something greater than mechanical progress. Perhaps these mysterious phenomena emerged as a counterbalance to the increasingly materialistic worldview of the Industrial Age. The legacy of these 19th century mysteries extends far beyond their immediate historical context. Many of the phenomena reported during this period would resurface in later decades with remarkable consistency. The patterns established in Victorian séance rooms would echo in 20th century UFO encounters. The electrical disturbances recorded by early investigators would find parallels in modern paranormal research. What's particularly striking is how these historical mysteries seem to anticipate future scientific discoveries. Phenomena that appeared impossible to 19th century observers would later find partial explanations in quantum physics, consciousness research, and our growing understanding of electromagnetic fields. It's as if these early encounters were previews of scientific frontiers humanity wouldn't reach for another century. The documentation from this era also provides valuable insights into how human perception and belief systems influence the interpretation of unexplained phenomena. Victorian investigators brought their own cultural assumptions and scientific limitations to their observations, yet their detailed records preserve experiences that continue to challenge our understanding today. As we examine these historical mysteries, we're reminded that the unknown didn't disappear with the advent of modern science. Instead, it evolved, adapted, and continued to manifest in ways that pushed the boundaries of human understanding. The phenomena that puzzled our ancestors continue to puzzle us today, suggesting that some mysteries transcend the limitations of any particular era's knowledge or technology. As we reach the end of our journey through these inexplicable historical rabbit holes, we find ourselves standing at the crossroads of knowledge and mystery, where the boundaries between the known and unknown blur into fascinating uncertainty. These enigmatic artifacts, phenomena, and occurrences serve as profound reminders that our understanding of the past, and indeed the present, remains tantalizingly incomplete. The Antikythera Mechanism continues to challenge our assumptions about ancient technological capabilities, forcing us to reconsider what civilizations thousands of years ago might have achieved. Similarly, the Nazca Lines stretch across the Peruvian desert like ancient messages we cannot fully decode, their purpose and creation methods still sparking heated debates among archaeologists and enthusiasts alike. The Piri Reis Map, with its seemingly impossible geographical accuracy, suggests that perhaps our ancestors possess knowledge systems we have yet to comprehend fully. These mysteries share a common thread. They humble our modern sensibilities and remind us that human ingenuity and curiosity have always pushed the boundaries of what seems possible. The Baghdad Battery, whether truly electrical or not, represents humanity's eternal drive to harness natural forces. The Shroud of Turin, regardless of its ultimate origin, demonstrates our deep need to connect with the sacred and the transcendent through physical objects. Moving beyond terrestrial mysteries, phenomena like the wow signal and the bloop expand our perspective to cosmic and oceanic realms, suggesting that our planet and universe harbour secrets far beyond our current detection capabilities. These signals from the unknown serve as modern sirens, calling us to venture further into uncharted territories of knowledge and discovery. The 19th century's embrace of spiritualism and early paranormal research reveals something profound about human nature: our willingness to explore the boundaries between science and the supernatural, between the rational and the inexplicable. This period of history shows us that the line between legitimate scientific inquiry and fringe investigation has always been fluid, with today's impossibilities sometimes becoming tomorrow's breakthroughs. What makes these historical rabbit holes particularly compelling is their resistance to definitive explanation. In an age where information seems instantly accessible and most questions appear answerable through quick online searches, these enduring mysteries offer something increasingly rare: genuine puzzles that require patience, imagination, and interdisciplinary thinking to approach. They also serve as powerful catalysts for continued research and exploration. Each unexplained phenomenon becomes a launching pad for new technologies, methodologies, and ways of thinking. The questions they raise often prove more valuable than any answers they might eventually yield, driving innovation across fields from archaeology to astronomy, from materials science to historical analysis. Perhaps most importantly, these mysteries preserve a sense of wonder in our increasingly mapped and measured world. They remind us that despite our technological achievements and scientific advances, the universe still holds countless secrets waiting to be discovered. They encourage us to remain curious, to question accepted narratives, and to approach the unknown with both rigorous skepticism and open-minded wonder. If any of these mysteries blew your mind, let me know in the comments which one surprised you the most. But if you thought these historical rabbit holes were strange, wait until you see the next video. Some of the most unbelievable events in history didn't happen centuries apart. They happened to the same people, in the same places, with eerie precision.